I hope I'm audible and visible to all of you, because couple of people had this issue. So if you can give just a thumbs up or an emoji so that others can also come to know that yes, I'm audible and visible, so that we can take the session further now without any delay. Okay. So I think Ankul Vasoya has only an issue. Otherwise, everybody else, I am audible and visible. Okay. So I am Chartered Accountant Deepak Mulchandani, and I am right now speaking to you from Indore. And I am the founder of Degree to Placements, that is D2P Consulting, which basically takes care of once you get that degree and how do you get placed. Because I have also spent 4.5 years with Deloitte and PwC, working with Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Titan, and other big companies. I was also seconded to London also, working for Deloitte, and then I have come back and I have been teaching and training CA students since last 10 years from foundation to intermediate, and then helping them out in placements. My company, Degree to Placements, has given placements to more than 2000 chartered accountants, and I am very proud to say that I have been able to give that first job to all of them. So all thanks to candidates like you. We do these kind of sessions regularly so that we are able to support you, we are able to enable you. Okay. So going forward, today's agenda is very clear. We are going to have a conversation on how to draft your CVs. Am I correct? So how many of you have already drafted your CV? Okay, somebody has drafted. So we would like to get a refresh on that key, what is going on, how it is working. Okay. Okay. So what you have drafted, I'll give you a brief today. So at the end of the day, do you want a full format of the CV or you want a hygiene of your CV? Hmm? Jaldi. So if somebody is looking for a full format of CV, tell me. Hmm. Yeah. So those of you who want a full format of the CV, let me give you the first thing. So few points about chartered accountancy and CV. So the CV drafting session, first of all, if somebody is looking for a format, let me tell you, there is no format of a specific CV. When you go and become a chartered accountant, you are a very unique person and your personality is also a unique thing. So if you think that, okay, a fixed format will help me to become what others are becoming and it can simply be a cut, copy, paste and fill those fields into it, that is not the right thing. So the overall CV conversation will go into few parts. So CV drafting can get into 5 sections. Number one, your resume will have the following sections. First is content and language. You need to understand first. Second, you need to understand the structure of your CV. Third is you need to quantify details. You need to balance it. And then last but most important thing is review, review, and review. Okay, so if only a format has to be shared, then those formats are available on chat GPTs and all on the internet. But you also know that a simple format cannot help you. You need to add things into it. You need to define yourself into it. So first thing, is this going well right now? Am I too fast? Language is too English? Or it's perfect and can I go further? Please give me a thumbs up. All good? Okay. So now when I say these 5 points, the content and the language, the structure, so we need to understand on first on content. Okay. You've spent your articleship, okay? So you've spent your articleship doing 3 hours, 3 years of working. I know very well you had a struggle time of putting your articleship time into COVID years also. So you were the first generation who understood paperless working, and you then mastered the process, and now you have been able to do these kind of audits. So in content case, first of all, you need to take out time to list your achievements. Now, what does that mean, sir? Take out time to list your achievements. What does this mean? Sir, it first of all, right from your childhood till now, you have to work onto these things. Okay, so you have to take up a list, and once you prepare that particular list, then the chronological order has to be the latest is the first thing. Okay, what do I mean to say by this? Let me clarify it again to you. Yes, so take out time to list your achievements first thing. Secondly, what happens in terms of achievements when you have single-handedly single-handedly audited clients? Number one, the kind of clients handled. अभी मैंने achievements बोला, so I said achievements. So achievements do not mean that you have been good in your school participation in extracurricular activities, art and craft classes. It should not be the case. Somebody is now going to recruit you not for your art and craft skills of your fifth class. Okay, somebody is going to recruit you for your capabilities and professional degree which you have achieved. So you give me your view that if you go, let's say, to a showroom to buy a particular product and you say, I want a t-shirt or I want a top, what do you want the salesman or the shopkeeper to do to you? Or if you put up a search on a Flipkart or on a Zomato or on a Swiggy or on a Blinkit saying I need deodorants, okay, so what do you expect all these websites or all the shopkeepers to do to you? Please put your response into the chat box. Put your response into the chat box. I am just opening the chat so that others also can see. I'm expecting you all to key in something. Are you typing in? No responses. Show as per the requirements. Manas Ji Shukla, I don't know. Banks, builders, handicraft companies, but only private limited. I did not ask this. So here is the problem. Here is the problem. I asked the question, you gave an answer which is not correlated. Okay. So Namik says help customer to understand why it is useful for them to buy the product. Okay. So first of all, Namik, will you show the product or will you explain the features of the product? Tell me. So do you want Zomato or a Blinkit to first of all run a story, run a video highlighting the features of the product? Or will you say, boss, what do you want to sell? Show me first. Yeah. So people can chat publicly also. I have enabled the chat that way so that you can understand how the world is thinking. Namex says shows the product. Show the product matching as per our search. Okay, Gopal. So now the moment you are the product here to be sold, you are going to sell yourself. And to sell yourself, you can take up a suit, put your tie, prepare some nice hairstyle, go and stand in front of that. But that is not the day. So who are you representing? Your two-page CV or a one-page CV is representing you. Understand? Okay. So the two-page CV is representing you. So you need to make that product. So it is a product which is going to introduce you. Okay. So now what is the problem which we all face? We simply want a cut copy paste from others and simply want to put it across. So you'll be just another product. Problem समझ में आया? Did you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I need continuous participation, folks. Otherwise, we'll not be able to have this. So you need to say a yes or no. You have to continuously type it into the chat box, so I come to know that you are actually listening or not. So first thing is you need to define yourself. Okay. So when I define myself, in what terms I would say, sir, I would write my first thing in the structure said that this is how it has to work. I am chartered accountant, so and so your name has to come in the top. Okay. So name has to come into the top, and then you have your email ID, proper email ID, and your mobile number directly accessible. So it has to be on the top right corner of your CV. Okay. And if the mail ID is there, make sure once you type that mail ID, you put an enter. So it becomes into a hyperlink. So that hyperlink will help you, help him or her to reach you. So this is the first initial packaging of the product कि भाई ऊपर label पे और product की packaging में कैसा होना चाहिए. Your name, your mail ID and everything has to be very proper on the right hand side. Correct? Secondly, okay. Now what happens is, whatever audits you have done, आपको पता है क्या करना चाहिए? What you should do is, year 1, year 2, year 3. You are not supposed to put this in your CV, huh? What I am trying to show you on that. But you have to structure it in certain pages so that you come to know year 1, what did you do? Like Jan to March quarter, April to June quarter, July to September quarter, and October to December quarter. So now you can start it with year 3, 2, and then 1. And then you realize ki what all did you do in your articleship days. Sir, how will I come to know? How will I remember? So you will remember it by your timesheets which you submit to your boss. I hope you have been submitting timesheets to your bosses. I presume that काम किया है. Okay. So in that you need to understand you would have done statutory audit also. You would have done internal audit also. You would have done taxation also. And you would have done GST also. If I can say, can I bifurcate into these 4 categories? Sir, I did audit. I did tax, I did under audit, I did stat, I did internal, I did concurrent, under tax I did DT, I did IDT. Now please sit properly and think about it. Under statutory audit, what did you do? Did you only, acha, another one was tax audit also. In stat audit, what kind of companies did you audit? It was private limited, public limited, or listed. Now, the moment I say this word, most of the candidates right now on the call will feel that I did not do all this audit, yaar. मेरा firm छोटा था. It was a small firm. It did not have the exposure. That is perfectly okay. Okay. So don't curse yourself saying that my firm did not give me the exposure. You chose the firm and you were right on the day 1 of articleship to select a particular firm. So don't worry about it. Okay. So don't think that I have not been able to get that kind of exposure. Whatever you have done, you need to find out and list it out properly for yourself so that yes, you get a proper idea. Okay. So now what goes through further is you need to list it out. Second, internal audit. Now, if you have done 100% checking of only the transaction, that does not mean internal audit. Please remember that. Okay, concurrent audit in banks, what you have done. So you need to list out things properly. In DT, what you have done is you have done individual taxation. You would have done partnership taxation, and then you would have done corporate clients. In IDT, you would have done two things. One is GST. GST in there you would have done compliance or notice replies. So matching GSTR 2B and 3B is compliance, okay, and notice replies is about drafting and putting it across. And tax audits you would have done. Anything else? One more thing. Any assignments in terms of NGOs, trust, their taxation, and other things. I am just trying to give you that you need to create all this together and put this into these sections. Okay. Are you able to understand what is expected from you अपना CV बनाने के लिए? Are we there? So can I give you a standard response for all this, or there will be a unique answer to every exposure? Tell me. Will there be a standard answer to it, or there will be a unique exposure of everyone? Sir, it will be unique. Correct? And that's where the uniqueness of any particular person starts. Correct? Now the next task is, once I have listed down everything, how do I present it nicely, sir? So now you have got the raw material. Now we need to do the packaging. Okay. Now first and the foremost rule of any CV. Do not lie or bluff. Because I tell you what, if you lie, the person who's going to interview you, it might be your first or second interview. The persons may be having these kind of 30 interviews, 35 interviews in a week. So he is very seasoned to know that whatever you have written, he will simply start asking and you will not be able to answer. इसलिए झूठ नहीं बोलने का. Do not lie or bluff, because that is a direct impact on the integrity of candidate. Let me tell you, this is a very serious issue. If you are lying on day one to get into a job, then the person say, boss, this can do, this person, if he is trying to help tactics to get into a company, then he can also do multiple kind of manipulations while being in the company, so they will not take you. So that is a golden rule, that you are not supposed to lie or bluff in your particular CV. Understand? Somebody has worked in a big four, you have not, you have worked in a small firm. Okay. So what you will write, if it matches with the big four fellow, the person will get an open ground for you to ask questions. And then what you will give answers, within 2-3 minutes, the person can understand that you are simply decorating this resume. Otherwise, you have not done any kind of work like this. Okay. So let me tell you that in a very clear way. Now what happens is, how do you structure your, and okay, so one, content is clear. Take out time to list your achievements, single-handedly audit the clients, the kind of clients handled. Now here you should, okay, so do you think the shopkeeper will showcase its worst product first or the best product first? Best or the worst? If you go to a shop, he will showcase you the best or the worst? Best. As simple as that. तो तुम्हारा जो सबसे better achievement है, whatever is your better achievement or the exposure, that should come on to the first thing. Best exposure in starting. Okay. Now here is a small trick. You might be right now confused. I would go to start audit, I would go to internal audit, I want to go to investment banking, or whatever you want to go into. If you are applying, then you have to structure your CV in such a way कि जो भी अगर if you would have got certain capabilities which are matching to any of the three vacancies, then the first preference should be coming to that. For example, if you are applying for an indirect tax position and you would have done some work in indirect taxation, so the first paragraph of your work exposure should relate to what? Indirect taxation. If you are going into statutory audit, then it had you are not supposed to change the whole CV. Please understand. There would be two or three or four bullet points which is going to go into the up or first or reverse order, or the order has to be shuffled so that you are able to showcase that whatever you are aiming me for, I have got that CV for. So it will give the excitement. So you go into a shop and the person says you want, I want to buy a t-shirt for a party wear or something of formal wear, and then he starts showing you the gray, the blue, the black, and the simple ones. So you say हाँ यही चाहिए. So then he gets interested to, you get interested to buy that product as well. और दिखाओ मुझे. So what will happen when your CV lands up in front of the person? So the average time a person will take to scan your CV is 2 to 3 minutes. And right now with so many of the CVs coming in, you need to stand out in front of all those 20,000 CVs coming and flowing everywhere. So everybody will be applying everywhere. Okay. So then you need to decorate that CV कि हाँ यार उसको देख के लगे कि okay, I can speak to this person. This person makes some sense. Okay. So the best exposure in starting has to come. So then another rule comes in, then you need to prioritize. So that is what I said. Prioritize. Keep a note of this. First, list your achievements. Don't lie. Best exposure should be in starting and then prioritize. So these four things help you to develop the content of your CV first. Am I okay with this? Hello? Sound sensible? Hello? Correct now? Okay. So now the next thing which I want to show you is tell me one thing. What kind of the dress you will be wearing for your particular session? So what kind of dress boys and girls will be wearing while going for a interview or while sitting for an interview online? I must say that. Aha, formals. Very good. So will you borrow? So will you borrow formals or will you get your own formals done? हाँ. तो जब खुद को चमकाने का इतना शौक है, when you want to get your own formals done for your own self, so why do you want to get the CV done by others? Who is going to define the best way of version of you? Tell me, you are average 22 to 25-year-old kids now. 22 to 25 years old people you are. So don't you think 22 to 25 years of your life, you can write 22 to 25 beautiful lines about yourself? Yes or no? So those 22 to 25 beautiful lines about yourself need to be done properly by you, not by someone else. Okay. So problem is, ever since the results got declared, everybody started jumping, saying CV de do, CV de do, and you mindlessly started applying everywhere. You are applying mindlessly, and you are thinking that everything is going to evaporate. Is your degree going to evaporate? No, sir. I have taken the screenshots, checked it from two different systems also, from my mobile also, and I have got that confirmation as a sufficient appropriate audit evidence that I am a chartered accountant now. And you took 4.5 years on an average to become a chartered accountant. It is perfectly okay if you take more than 4 weeks or even if you take 4 months to get your nice dream job. Please understand this. Nobody is taking away your degree. Degree is not evaporating. Okay? Is that clear? Many of the people think that, oh, Baba, my degree is going to go evaporated. It is not going to happen. Correct? By the time you understand what do you want, you draft your own CV, but Sir, everywhere I get a peer pressure. Everybody is applying. Everybody is applying, and people are saying jobs are going to go away. 20,000 chartered accountants are there, and the jobs are lesser. Hello. Whenever you find people saying, "Na, I am not getting work," I'll tell you what. Chartered accountants not getting work is more of a voluntary unemployment rather than involuntary unemployment. Because every chartered accountant after passing wants a 12 lakh, 15 lakh job without understanding that whatever she or he has done so far, and accordingly she or he will get the work. Abhi sabko, everybody from the relative and everyone is expecting you that you should start churning money immediately, which is not possible. You have done your MBBS, now you are going to go for specialization. It's as simple as that. So you need to prioritize things, okay? Now let me come to the second thing. You need to research. Sir, this is what I don't want to do. I just want a cut, copy, paste. Now, when you research your CV, what happens? Let me tell you. Okay. When you go to any job site, or let's say a Naukri or a LinkedIn, what do? You read about the positions and skills expected. Now, for example, let me take the example of statutory audit. Okay. So now, if somebody is hiring for a statutory audit, what do you expect that he or she would be looking for? What recruiter will look for when they are hiring you for statutory audit? Will they ask you more of company law? Will they ask you standards on auditing? Will they ask you Ind AS? What will they ask? SA and Ind AS. Okay. So no, nothing about company law. Hmm? Major essays, some portion of India's company law on CVN positions. Caro, now I get the final word. Caro 2020. Okay, Harshal, what you have written in your CV is fine. So if you have written all in CV that you have done all this, so will you be able to explain it or not, first of all? So please understand. ये सबसे ज़्यादा ध्यान रखना. You have to remember that whatever you are putting in your CV, he can take you for a ride and ask all the questions you should be able to answer. Correct? So read about the position and skills expected and then match your work exposure. Which work exposure, sir? Sir, this work exposure which I have done. So what will happen is what keywords market is looking, you would have done that work. Let me tell you, if the market says or the position says you should be a team player, so what should come into your description of your work done? Worked as a team participant as well as a team leader comprising of 20 people on the audit of a limited company. अब इस line से what does this line signifies? That you have worked as a participant also and you have worked as a leader also. Correct? Hello. Did you understand? So anybody who is researching well, that will help. Okay. Acha, then have you ever think about something called a unicorn? So unicorn In startup terminology, you know which is got a valuation of $1 billion. Okay, but tell me one thing: is unicorn a real animal or an imaginary animal? Sir, it's an imaginary one. Okay. So the moment you say the imaginary one, now if I try to tell you that there should be a unicorn in your CV, so what does that mean? Any imaginary line or that unique line or that unique capability? Yes. So that unique capability can be multiple. Okay. You might be very good at Excel. You would have contributed to automation in office. You would have developed certain macros. You would have developed certain checklists. You would have done some client closures from inception to conclusion. Smaller offices, we do a lot of all this. Sir, we interact with the client, we understand the business, we audit it, we finalize it and take it to our principal, and the principal finally gives an approval and says a yes. So, what happens in that case? You realize, okay, you have completed the whole audit. And on the lighter note side, you feel like all the work I have done, but the fees is going to the boss. How many of you get this kind of a feeling at times? Sir, सारा काम मैंने किया, but सारा fees boss लेके गया. Who gets this feeling? See, so many of you feel. Right from Kamal, Sonal, Vignesh, Shreya, Sanket. So tell me one thing. The client came because of your boss, na? The client came because of your boss. So it's not only you. You are executing it, no doubt about it. But it's his relationship maintenance. So I hope out of these five, how many of you say at least one I have, sir? One, two, three, four, five. How many of you say at least one I have? Give me a number. One I have, two, three, four, five. Hmm. So don't you think that should come out in your CV very properly? So it is your duty to pull that out now. अच्छे से शब्दों में, in a very good line, it has to come out that yes, you are good at this. So now this is something I got into your shop and I showed you a top or a t-shirt. I said, sir, this is a top t-shirt or a formal trouser or a coat which you are looking for. Do you want to see a variety in this? Yes. Sir, the special feature of this coat is it is wrinkle free. So it will not require any ironing when you are rushing to your offices. So you will say, oh, good. Sir, it has got multiple pockets inside. Sir, it's about made about the lighter material. You can carry it in winters as well as in summers also. So now here comes a CV which shows, okay, this person is good at this. This person has done this work. This person is a participant or a Excel skill holder, has done macros, developed checklists or something. So the excitement to meet the person becomes better. Make sense? Hello, give me a yes or no. So this is about the content. So under the content, this unique thing should come. Okay. So now if I go back up and show you that I told four things. Okay. Content ho gaya. The structure. Now I'll be content and languages come in. Now we are going to talk about the structure. Okay. So when I say the word structure, what do I mean? The structure has to have three things. Okay. Number one, at the top, it should be name, contact details, Contact details includes mobile and email ID. How many of you still do not have a proper email ID? If your email IDs are cool dude, Barbie doll, James Bond 007, so that should not so happen. Okay. Numbers, because anyways numbers do come nowadays. For example, there is Mansi Jain, so it should be Mansi Jain 04, Mansi Jain 05, or Mansi Jain 01. So the ID has to be professional, okay? And please remember, I have seen multiple times kids not understanding the importance of the right email ID. Yes, Suchit, it is fine, but you won't get that Gmail ID very easily. For example, if you ask me, this ID which I am using, deepak.mulchandani@gmail.com, I made it when Gmail was launched. So now it will have deepak.mulchandani12, deepak.mulchandani17 at gmail.com, something like that will come in. So that is fine. Okay. But it should not be like Deepak the Great, Deepak the Boss, Deepak Thala07 at gmail.com, Roko underscore Deepak underscore ICCT20 at gmail.com. It should not show. Okay. So I'm just trying to tell you that yes, these things should not be there. So that is at the top, first thing. And there are certain people very enjoying all the meme material, Thala for a reason. Well, that is all senseless, you know. Lincoln101105 at Gmail is fine, because see, you won't get the professional email ID so easily on Gmail now. At the top, this is section 1, okay, which I told you. I hope you are taking a note of all this. Section 2, then you need to have your education in reverse chronological order. Reverse order means what? The oldest on the top or the latest on the top? Latest on the top. Correct. Latest on the top. Fine. Then you go to section 3. And when you go to section 3, then you have to think about is academic achievements. Correct? So those academic achievements should come. Okay. And then you should have your skills, the next one. Skills and proficiencies. Section 5, articleship experience. Now let me tell you one word about articleship experience. Okay. Under articleship experience, usually if you draw a table like this, so it can be audit, direct taxation. So in audit you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullets. Direct taxation, whatever kind of work you have done is that bullets, direct taxation. Indirect taxation. In audit, if it is statutory, then it is statutory. If it is statutory internal, both, it depends upon your exposure. You want to have a separate section on it or not. So what happens is whenever you prioritize this, if you are sending it for stat audit, the statutory audit box should be the first one. If you are sending it for taxation, the direct taxation box should be the first one. Am I clear on this? समझ में आया? Yes or no? Yes, Anubhav, I am coming to those answers. Okay, Manish Sen is requesting a meeting summary with AI companion. Let's try. Why not? Summary देखते हैं कैसा निकल के आता है. Okay. Now this is something which you need to do, and then you should have something called co-curricular activities. Finance section animes. If you have done in finance, so if you have done things in finance, you should have finance. Then CMA data preparation and all the other activities. कृति एक फ्रेशर का सीवी जनरली कॉमन बनेगा बेटा. देयर विल बी अ कॉमन सीवी फॉर अ फ्रेशर. इट इज वेरी टफ टू मेक मल्टीपल सीवीज ऑफ अ कॉमन पर्सन ऑफ अ फ्रेशर unless you develop those skills. See, usually you do multiple things beta, you don't do a single one. Okay, now let's come to one thing after co-curriculars. The most important word is to quantify. Now how do we quantify? For example, I have done a private limited company, let's say Parle Biscuits Private Limited. Now, for the namesake, it is private limited, but it is one of the largest companies. Am I correct or not? So now, if I simply write I did statutory audit of a private limited company, does it shows the level of working which I have done? If you simply write did statutory audit, so does that works? No, sir, it doesn't works. So what you are supposed to do? Worked in the audit of a private limited company having a turnover of 10,000 crores and having manufacturing facilities spread across the country. Correct. So now that makes sense. Yes or no? So unless you will show that quantification to the user of your CV, will not make sense na otherwise. So that you need to understand that quantification has to go into what? Correct? So if you stood, let's say if you said अब आप ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते, you can't say that okay I stood first in a competition where there were 3 participants. So will that be the right thing to do? Hmm? Out of 3 participants you stood first, it's fine? No. So sir, if I am standing 7th in 300 people, does that make sense? Now the moment you go, so there comes a question, client name sir. Can I put the client name? The answer is a big yes. So now the moment I say it's a big yes, you will come back asking me, sir, excuse me, it is going to impact the confidentiality clause of a chartered accountant. How many of you are thinking this way? Okay, Kamal Mansi says. So Kamaljeet says it is going to impact. Uh-huh. Okay, Sona says listed clients can be mentioned. What about private clients? Sona? हाँ. I'll tell you what, maximum काम private clients के लिए करते हैं. Most of the work we do for private clients, okay? So if you hide away everything, how will they come to know? Yes, Sanket has given the proper answer. Unless we don't disclose the financial details and the personal details of the company, it's fine. For example, if I am doing work for Parle, I am proud to say I'm working for Parle. There might be many of the private limited companies in a client base which are quite good enough, large enough. So there, if you pull out, for example, if I am working for a private company having a turnover of 2000 crores or let's say 200 crores only. So it's okay to write the name because this CV is not going to get published in the newspaper first. Second, you are using the information not for gaining any other access to other confidential information. And while saying that 200 crores, that is something data which is also available in MCA also. Can't you access the details in MCA of any private limited company? You tell me. Can't you access it? You can, na? So then where is the confidentiality break? So what do you learn? Client name can be given. Huh. How will your ethics be tested? Let me tell you. Now, if I am the interviewer and I tell you, beta, which company we have worked for. So, for example, I have got visibility of Sanchita right now. She has kept her camera on, which is a very professional thing to do. Let me tell you, whenever you sit in any meetings and if you are capable to open up your camera, the person gets a confidence saying, okay, the person is all set, ready. Most of you have closed your cameras. So, this is not a private coaching class going on. You need to understand and realize. So okay, so Anubhav learns and opens up. Now Kajol also opens up. Good. See, what will happen is once you are available and visible in front of someone, so what will happen? The person will say how the ethics will get tested. So okay, there are few more candidates opening up cameras. Good. Ayush, Kamaljeet, okay. तो ऐसा कुछ करना पड़ा मुझे आप लोगों के कैमराज ऑन करवाने के लिए. Okay, fine, works well. So you all will close the camera. Should I? Do you allow me to click a picture of yours? कि मेरा सेशन चल रहा है. Otherwise, people will run away ना. आजकल दिखावा करना पड़ता है. Okay. So now I'll pick, let's say, Suchit or Darshita Soni. Okay. Darshita seems to be my student. Darshita, were you my student? Yes, yes, yes. Darshita was my student. Okay. So Darshita, for example, if you have done the audit of a private company which has got into a 200 crore turnover. So Darshita, now as an interviewer, I'm asking and I will allow you to unmute yourself. Okay. Is that okay? Will you be able to speak, Darshita? Darshita. So I am allowing participants to unmute themselves. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so Darshita, if have you been auditing this particular company, ABC Limited, which is a 200 crore turnover company? Am I correct? What was your position, beta? Did you work as a team member or as a team leader?
As a team member,
Okay, which areas did you access? Which areas did you work on?
stat audit, mental audit,
No, no, in that company, which
okay,
areas you worked into the statutory audit of that particular company?
okay, okay,
Darshita, it's perfectly okay to make a mistake. We are learning here. So don't worry and don't hesitate.
okay, sir. Uh,
See, this 30-second pause will prompt as an interviewer to me. इसको नहीं पता है. Did you all get an idea what I'm trying to tell you?
yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Darshita, for participating into it. Don't take it negatively, okay? This is your first try. But this is a small indication that this is how things will come in. Anybody else who wants to volunteer or can give some details of the work done? Kamalji, you want to try? Kamaljeet Kaur? Or anybody who wants to try can raise a hand, वो अपने आप को unmute कर ले.
Hello, sir. I'm Suchit. May I?
Yeah, Suchit, please. Which areas did you work into the audit of the company which you have mentioned in your CV?
Sir, I was assigned to look after the bank reconciliation and the confirmation uh, of the like available bank statements and the FDs uh, and the investment which the company has made.
Okay.
And apart from that, I have been looking into the fixed assets verification, that
Okay.
the
Suchit,
quantity which has been.
understood. Can you tell me how many bank accounts the company has and they are banking with which company?
Yeah, it was around 5 to 8 banks, and most of them are like nationalized banks. And in those lists, there were two private banks, HDFC and ICICI.
Okay. Which branches were they operating with?
Yeah, the branches was located in the nearby location of the factory, and
And their
next to the
factory,
factory
their
was in
factory is
Ranchi, and
located in
the
which
branches were
area?
in the Ranchi area.
Okay. Suchit, तुम फंस गए. You are giving those technical details and those confidential details which were not to be given. You would have said, sir, these financial details cannot be shared with a person who is not the user of the financial statements. So it's confidential, I can't disclose it to you.
Uh,
ये ethics
can
test
I
हुआ
say
सुचित.
it is like in the area where the factory is established? मतलब,
आपको ये बोलना रहेगा वहां पर उनको कि सर, these are the details which are not supposed to be shared with not the people who are not users of the financial statements. I can tell you what work I have done, but I can't open up the details of the client because that is against the confidentiality. ये 1 मिनट में ethics test होता है ऐसे. Did you get my point? Did you get to
yes,
understand what I'm trying to tell you? So client name can be written, but the internal details of the client cannot be shown. Point understood? Okay, so that's the next one. And then, okay, so now what happens is you are supposed to avoid generic statements. अब इसका क्या मतलब होता है? इतनी जनरल जानकारी जिसका कोई मीनिंग ना हो. Now what generic statements? Give recommendations, assisted in improvisation. Now tell me one thing. These kind of suggestions most of the time today also first year articles try to do revenue stamp not found. Okay. Many of the people say we gave these suggestions, but do you really think all the suggestions get implemented? So then what should be the final outcome unless you tell that gave these suggestions which improvised the turnaround time or reduced the working hours or reduced the number of people employed? Unless you do that, do you really think those suggestions and giving suggestions statement in your CV will help? Or it should have some real impact wala things? So it should have some real impact wala things. So you need to understand that if the impact is coming, then it's fine. Otherwise, your recommendations are of no use. Correct? So that's one thing. Then the next thing what you say is, whatever you put in your resume, you should be able to defend it. Huh. Okay. So then next is balance the information. Now balance the information means what? Text and numbers. You should have text and numbers both properly done. बहुत ज़्यादा theory भी नहीं चलता है, बहुत ज़्यादा numbers भी नहीं चलता है. Balance of numbers and theory and text. Okay. So please make sure you don't do that mistake of too much of text or stuffing too much of it. Correct? And then finally what you do is You need to create certain specific points where you can have a conversation. Specific points, I may say, these are called spikes, which give you conversation points. Now, what does that mean, sir? Conversation points here. Sir, conversation points is just a sec. Now the interest word. Now the moment say your hobby is an interest. Now don't say scrolling reels, watching Instagram is your hobby. That's an addiction actually. Sir, everybody of us is addicted. We know that, but we can't write that. Okay. But if your interest is, let's say my interest is in watching cricket. So everybody is interested in cricket. Sanket, then traveling, cricket and chess considered as hobbies. See, then you can give an open-ended point to him. I follow cricket rather than it's a hobby. Following cricket because you're not playing as much. Following cricket, following chess. The moment you say following cricket, then you're talking on numbers and data rather than opening up. Playing badminton, it's fine. कुकिंग में स्पेसिफिक जाओ ना. कुकिंग मजबूरी में हुआ है भाई, हमको मालूम है. सो यू हैव टू टेल व्हाट कहते हैं ना, हालात ने जो तुमसे करवाया वो तुम्हारी हॉबी नहीं हो, तुम्हारी मजबूरी है. If you have, okay, now for example somebody says reading novels. Again, reading novels is an open-ended thing. What kind of novels? Don't give him that big area of asking wrong questions to you or vague questions to you. What happens is reading novels, so you say fiction, you say business novels, you say Hindi, English specific. Otherwise what will happen is he'll open that area and then he'll take you for a ride. That is what gymming is, again a necessity, okay, to keep yourself fit. आपको उसको ऐसा बोलना चाहिए, I'm a fitness enthusiast Mayank, rather than saying gymming. Gymming is nowhere a word, okay? G-Y-M-I-N-G is nowhere a word. Okay, Lincoln says watching podcast. What kind of podcast? भूत प्रेत वाला podcast, पिंक विला मलाइका अरोरा का podcast, or podcast of Nikhil Kamath. What kind of podcasts? Podcast again is like surfing internet, watching reels. So you have to be very specific. Okay, how many hobbies? So Ranveer Alabadi also does various podcasts, sir. Ranveer Alabadi has got spiritual, he has got business, he has got all the Bhoot Pret, all the film stars, everyone. See, what happens is the moment you say all this, you allow the person to ask you vague questions. So you be specific. There is no limit to hobbies, Mayank. Anubhav, it can be the same point. So Kajol, you say you have been mentoring students, helping them students navigate. I hope the comments are visible to other ones also. The chat is visible to others also. They are also learning. I made the chat open for all. Sanket, I told twice there are no limit on hobbies. You can have one, you can have three. But if you try to put up 10, then the person will say, "Ye CA kab kiya isne? If he has got 10 hobbies." And then the next question is, how are you balancing all the hobbies along with your CA studies? Give us an answer. Boss, you will give the ground to them that how are they going to ask you the questions. मैं वही बार बार कहने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. I'm coming back to that thing again and again. This is your CV. You lay down everything what you want them to ask you. If you put something which is not correct, then you are in a soup. Okay. So interest has to be specific so that you don't get trapped in this. Correct? Okay. Now, one more thing in that, there are few things which are there. Please, there are strict do nots. These are do nots which I am trying to tell you now. There is no need for a declaration. I hereby declare that all the information above is true and fair to the best of my knowledge. This is not an audit certificate, okay, sir? So nobody is going to put up a declaration. Second, participated in conference. What is the use? Participated in conference, then otherwise you have participated in what capacity? Sir, I just went there, took the welcome kit, had some chit chat with my friends, enjoyed in the night on the disco program, and then came back. This is the real situation of most of the candidates when they attend these conferences. Am I correct or not? I am very blunt on multiple things. I would be very straightforward, but this is what it is. Yes or no? So then you have to be very clear now what you did in the conferences. Otherwise, problem hoega. Okay, so that is something. Do nots. Okay, should there be a photo in the CV? What do you all say? Should it be there or not? Okay, I'll tell you what. Pinky, okay, Leo, Madhur. There are certain gender neutral names. You'll always find it can be a male also, it can be a female also. Correct? Shagambari says, what about participating as a student speaker in the conference? Yes. So then you say participated as a speaker on the topic of this. So that is a different thing. No? That is not participation in as a mass. Suchit, this is going to be something you will open up a very big area. If you all can read Suchit Singh, reading Ashtavakra Gita, Patanjali Yoga Sutra and Bhakti Sutra, interested in Sanatan philosophy, is a good thing to write or not? If you ask me, anybody in a multinational company will take this as a one-sided, one particular religion statement. When you are going to represent a cosmoculture, correct? So why do you want to bring all this? तुम्हारा चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी तुम्हारे लिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है या ये सब कुछ लिखना है? ये तुमको सोचना है. So this is going to open up. Then I'll start asking you how the movie Kalki 2898 AD is related to Gita, and what are your views about Patanjali doing false claims and then getting a lashing from Supreme Court? And do you think Patanjali has been honest in all its declarations? So now you are into a wrong area, Suchit. You're getting an idea what problems you can attract by doing all this. समझ में आ रहा है? And you are here not to display your personality, you are here to display your professional skills in the CV. समझे? Difference है. So my always a recommendation is photo should be there. पता कैसे चलेगा? And most of all, I'll tell you what, certain frauds have happened. That Munna Bhai kind of a thing has happened. Kajol, for example, I'm taking Kajol Jain. Okay, Kajol Jain, as for an example, sends her CV without a photograph and then finally asks Sona, Sona, can you give the interview on my behalf? I'll pay you 5,000 rupees. Sona gives an interview. The interviewer says, okay, fine, Kajol, you are hired. So Sona earns 5,000 and goes away. And then Kajol joins. All the things start up and come up in front. What is wrong in giving a photograph of yours? It is not the full biodata and photograph for your marriage. No? It's a passport size photograph in professional attire. Photo should be there, boss, in specifically in the online atmosphere. Let me tell you, the first thing which they will try to ask you is open up the camera. The opening up of camera is not only for anything but for making you understand that who is this person I am interviewing. Correct? So photo has to be there. So now in last 1 hour I have done so many discussions. So let me tell you, we did on all these things. We understood content and language. We understood structure. We understood how to quantify. We have to balance it, and then we have to. Yes, सबसे important last one. After completing your CV, let me tell you, you have to sleep on it. Sleep on it does not mean literally you take it below your pillow and then sleep. No. आज बनाया, कल फिर देखो. Look at it once again after once or twice, because what will happen is something, because whatever you have done till now seems to be very important to you. A day or tomorrow, then you'll say, yeah, this is not important being a chartered accountant. Like for example, Shagambari comes in now, 100% attendance, certificate of class 11 we put in resume. No. You can say punctual and regular attendee of the school. Recognized as regular attendee of the school. Recognized and appreciated for regular attendance in the school. बस इतना. Co-curricular activities Kriti, you can say anchored the annual function. One line, that's it. Anchored the annual function. Now this orientation, MCS, GMCS and ITT, they give you awards. Now the first thing is how many participants were there. Got it? Okay, somebody has come up. I have a certificate in investment banking, but not enough knowledge. So that means the certificate is not worth it, sir. So writing certified, you see, you have understood. If you write, I am certified in this particular area, the interviewer will ask the questions, and then what you will say? Okay, Kajol comes back on saying one page. There is no rule that it's a one page thing. Okay, first page should have the more relevant details. It can go to 2 pages. It's perfectly okay. So there is no rule like that. Now somebody will come and say, oh no, within 10 seconds the CV has to be there. Okay, so on the first page CV is there. Okay. Now let me tell you one thing. If you can understand, you can use Chat GPT very nicely for using interviews. That is one more agenda which I wanted to cover. So review point is clear. You have to drop the points, you have to add the points, you have to fine tune the points. So all things clear till now here. So then I'll take another 5-10 minutes on how to use Chat GPT. So let's go there. Okay, I'll just log in. Okay, so I'll share the screen with you now. Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. So chat GPT. It's fine. So if I say I am going to appear as a fresh chartered accountant for an interview of statutory audit, please ask the questions to me as an interviewer for the position of a CA fresher in India. Are you able to see the chat prompts which I am putting in? Also, modify the questions based on my answers. Is it visible? अभी किसको इंटरव्यू रेडी का वर्कशॉप मांगता है 5,000 रुपए का? ये रहा इंटरव्यूअर तुम्हारा. The smiles on the face of my children shows it all. सीए बनने के बाद still you are wondering yourself that I need more, I need more, I need more. Boss, you have done one of the toughest courses of the country. अभी इसके बाद why do you want to go here and there? The whole thing is about you investing time on your own self now. What do you say, folks? Can't you use this system and improvise yourself? Give me a yes or no, folks. I would suggest, ये मैं prompt है ना आप लोगों को देता हूँ, रुको, ये prompt मैं आपको दे देता हूँ ताकि आपको starting मिल जाए. Now the moment I change statutory audit की जगह something else, will that work or not? Internal audit. Can't you tailor it? Can't you use it? इतना सिंपल है भाई. So do you really think you need something else after this? सर बैठ के कौन करेगा, आप ही बता दो. Okay, so now I also share my website also where I have developed all these things and I can tell you that okay what all you can do. Okay, so there is a website of mine. So there is a website, okay. So you have got interview questions of various fields. So this is what you would be looking for. Yellow. Statutory audit के question, transfer pricing, direct tax, indirect tax, internal audit, investment banking, how to handle office politics, how to develop multitasking skills, upgrade your skills, all the stuff available. Questions for finance, questions for FP&A. Sir, यही तो चाहिए था. Where were you till now? I can see the smiles. Here it is, low. जो एक्चुअल रीजन है विभोर आर्टिकल शिपमेंट ट्रांसफर का वो देना. आप बोलना उसमें मेरे को एक्सपोजर नहीं था. इट्स एज सिंपल एज दैट. ओके. At Japiti, we can have a conversation based interview preparation. Wanted to share, can explore. Yes, Suchit, you can have. That is what I tried to show you. You can have. So these are the few things. Now I think today's session wanted to cover two things, CV, and secondly was how to use chat GPT. Okay. How many of you have attended my first session which was done pre-result for various domains guidance? How many did you attended that session, domain guidance session? Which domain has got which? Sanket attended it, Nikhil attended, Lenovo did not attend, Kajol did not attend. So would you like to have a look at that session also? Here it is. Here you go. So I hope you are attending this session because of my connection with all of you through email, through LinkedIn. Are you a part of the WhatsApp group, which is a direct connection with me? How many of you are not the part of the WhatsApp group? So if you want, I'll share that WhatsApp link. How many of you say I want the link? Please put it in that I'll give you the link in the chat. Okay, so here is the link. So is the link visible to all of you? Just check. So please join that. Okay. So all these things would help you being in touch. And right now we are helping you out into the various vacancies for financial due diligence, transaction advisory, strategic advisory, transformation, statutory audit, internal audit, all at EY. So have you been able to access the form which we have shared for application at EY? Give me a yes or no. Okay, filled today. So let me just share that form with you if you want. I'm just sharing the link. Just give me a minute. Here is the first one, financial due diligence. This is for financial due diligence, okay? No, sir, Harshit. English in interview is a strict no. So this is for financial due diligence. Here is the WhatsApp link. And one more form I have for statutory audit and other EY opportunities. Here it is, the second form. You can share this with your friends also. Okay, so what will happen is once you apply, we'll upload your CV to the portal. And if it is a duplicate CV, if you have distributed this CV to multiple people already, So then you will have a situation that your CV will pop up as duplicate. So my sincere suggestion to you is that you are not supposed to distribute your CV just like that to others, because it will create a duplicacy issue, and then your profile gets stuck. And what happens is, where all your seniors who are working in Big Fours are very excited to get your CV. How many of you got approached by your seniors to access your CV? Bole CV de do, I will upload it and I will share it with the HR. How many of you have got these kind of messages? Okay, let me tell you the basic intention. All of them receive a referral bonus. So because of that referral bonus, what they do is they simply upload the CV and forget it. A problem is, you are looking for statutory audit and they have uploaded it in transfer pricing. You are looking for a particular division and they have uploaded in some other division, and then they lose a track of it because it's not their work. So what happens is, your candidature gets stuck. So that should not happen actually. Okay. So please make sure you do this. I hope today's session would have given you some proper insight into it. Now, next session, what we plan to do is, after a couple of days, is on CV drafting ho gaya. So now what we will do is do sessions on how to build your profiles on LinkedIn and Naukri. Would you like to have that kind of a session? Yes or no? So for that, you need to do one thing first of all. See, it's again a free session, because this is what is ultimately being bundled and sold as mentoring, and I don't think it's mentoring actually. It's like informing. So I can simply take you through a particular profile, that how do you build a profile at one point of time. So we can take one person and then help that person ki aise profile build karna, this is how you have to put up things. So that we will do, okay, after a couple of days. So now you are connected through the WhatsApp, and you are connected through LinkedIn to me also. So what I want you to do is put up a comment on LinkedIn about the session. I am available. I hope my LinkedIn profile is known to you. Are you aware of my LinkedIn profile, or do you want me to share that too also? I'm available on LinkedIn as Deepak Mulchandani, as simple as that. If you can see. Uh, I'll just try to find out how do I share my profile. I'm a bit a newbie to all this. Okay, so it appears like this. Let me share the screen with you. Here it is, Deepak Mulchandani. So this I can share it with all of you. Okay. So now what I want you to do is go on to WhatsApp, join the group, give a feedback, so that it becomes a good thing for others also to join and be in. But what we will make sure always is, we'll lock the meeting. We did not have multiple disturbances in between. And if you can see on these things, is my YouTube channel visible to you right now? So there are multiple placement, pre-placement talks and recordings available. Articleship sessions also done. Pre-placement talk by KPMG was also done. This is all available here also. Interview preparation videos. Is my website visible to you right now? Degree to placements. Give me a yes or no. Yes. So here is. You can watch these videos. I will edit it and upload it on YouTube also. So need not worry. The WhatsApp link has been missed by a few of them. Can anybody help with the WhatsApp link? I just lost it in the chat. Here it is. Nikhil, whatever attempts you have taken for passing CF finals, you have to tell them because they can easily make out from the years. Don't be under a false impression कि उनको पता नहीं चलेगा. They can understand everything, okay? So don't try to have that impression that if you bluff in front of them. I told you, don't bluff, don't lie. Okay? So make sure should not happen so. So we'll meet soon. So it's been 1 hour 40 minutes and most of the participants have been there in the meeting. It's really nice to see all of you doing this. So wish you all the best and I hope certain value addition happened to you today in the session. If yes, just give me a thumbs up so it helps me to understand yes, I am going in the right way. Okay, Vignesh says yes, Sarthak, Kajol, okay. If somebody has joined group 1, no need to join group 2 because the same. So see you soon once again in couple of days. Now you're connected through the WhatsApp, so it will help. The call can be expected after, okay, if you have applied for CVs, your CVs will be uploaded. After uploading, we call you, we screen you. We screen you and then put that information there to the HR and then HR understands it and then takes it forward. 2-3 things are a strict no-no from Big Fours, let me tell you. If you're not very good at English, there will be a problem. Kajol, you can write if you're a CMA final, no problems at all. Second, if you are bluffing, you will be in a problem. So make sure you don't play around with the facts. वो सब calculate हो जाएगा. Okay. Is it fine? So now we'll go further in next session by building your profile on Naukri and LinkedIn. Okay. Can I take a leave today, beta? Thank you very much for being patient listeners and being available till the end. Thank you very much.
Recording stopped.